Hey guys, Derek here with Popaville O-Gauge Trains, and this time it's going to be a project that I've been telling you about for a while. I've always wanted a smoker in a Commodore Vanderbilt, so we're going to try and see if we can figure out how to do it. Alright, so as I said in the intro, I've always wanted a Commodore Vanderbilt that smokes, so I came up with an idea on how I'm going to do it. So let's start out real quickly, just so you know, if I sound a little different, I got some gauze in my mouth. I was at the dentist this morning. So I got this Commodore Vanderbilt. That is a piece of junk. As you can see, the motor is pretty much trashed. So this is going to be my donor shell that I'm using. I'm still waiting for some parts from Parts for Marx. Amy, come on, get me my parts. I need the new dome and I need a visor for the front. We'll be repainting, sandblasting and repainting this. And this is going to be my new engine out of this 666. It's just a plastic shell. I picked this up really dirt cheap. Not even 100% sure if the motor works, so we're going to throw it on our test track to find out, and then I'm going to show you what my plan is. Hey Google, turn on the transformer.
Okay, turning transformer on.
Alright, so the first thing I got to do is find out if this sucker even works. No, the engine works, but I haven't really tested the... Whoa! Held that down a little bit too hard. So we got a good working smoke in it. A real good working smoke in it. Okay, so that's going to work. Hey Google, turn that transformer off.
Got it. Turning off transformer.
Okay, so now that we know that our transformer works, that our motor works, we've got to... Anybody need a shell? Let me know. You pay the shipping. I'll send it to you for free. It is missing the front end. That's a 666, by the way. Right? Or 1666. That's the plastic one. The die cast is the 666. So, question is will this fit in here? Let's find out. Okay, so it does fit in there. A little tight on the front. I'm going to have to figure out something as far as to hook up a light in there. I got a couple of ideas because I don't think the bracket that originally goes in here is going to fit. I'll have to play around with that one. The other problem I have is these holes don't match up, so we're going to have to figure out that. I have an idea in my head. I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but let me show you what my plan is. So I happen to have a piece right here. So what I'm thinking I can do is I can cut this down. That hole lines up. I'll probably have to do it this way. That hole lines up, and then where the other hole needs to go here, I just drill a hole. So now fast forward, I've already done that. So what I did, and I'm going to show you because I want to redo these to do them a little bit better. But I made these holes. I put it in there like that. And these line up to where I can run the screw in and then run the screw here into the motor. I'm going to redo this because I want to have a nice curved edge on that. So when I make the new one, this one I just made as a kind of like a test piece. So when I'll show you how I'm going to be making that new one. And as far as I know, that's going to hold that in there nice. And I did have to use a tap and die and thread this extra hole that I made. But I mean, it's that simple as far as making that extra hole. The tricky part is, like I say, is going to be one of the other problems that I run into is the stack for the smoke unit doesn't line up perfect. I've got a little idea. I was playing around with something. Now, of course, I can't. Oh, here it is. Of This is just a little piece of rubber, but I figured I'd do this with a piece of metal because it sits down just a little bit, so I can have that in there and have it curved so all the smoke will come out. As I put this together, I'll be showing you how I'm going to do that. But so let's get started on making my little brackets. Okay, so I've drawn a line on where I want to cut that little bracket piece that I have. And now you could use a regular piece of metal for this and just drill 2 holes, but I figured, hey, I'll use this one because it's already got 1 hole in it. And that little dot right there, that's the second hole that I'm going to have to drill. So I've got my safety glasses on, of course, and let's get to cutting. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit on the floor for a minute because it's probably hot as heck. So, you know, just using a simple little cutting tool on my Dremel here that works really well. Let's get that little piece. And there we go. Just cut real nice. Next step will be to drill our hole in it. So let's get this piece off. You notice I'm grabbing it from this end because that end's probably still kind of hot. Yep, that sucker's still pretty hot. But because I'm in a hurry here, I don't know if you can see me back here. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the press. Now you could do this in a press, or you could do it with a. Actually, you know how I'm going to do this. We're gonna move the camera over. There's another way I'm gonna drill this hole. Okay, so I'm just gonna drill this hole by using a small piece of wood underneath it. But the first thing I want to do makes it a little bit easier when you're drilling into metal. Is I'm gonna hit this sucker with my awl here. Let's get it just right. Just to get that little indent in there. And, you know, I'm going to do something else. Hang on just a second. Okay, so we're back. So what I did, because I didn't want this thing flipping around, I just threw a wood screw in there real quick. Just to keep it from moving around on me. Just make that a little bit easier to drill this hole. Oh, almost went through the workbench. Okay. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, and this one I won't be doing this on camera. I got to run out to my shed to on my grinding wheel. I could do it with the Dremel if I wanted. I'm going to kind of round this corner off a little bit, so because it sticks out just a little. I don't want that. I don't care much for that flat edge right there, so I'm just going to round it a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm back from the shed, and as you see, what I did is I ground down the corners on these guys, just so once they're in there, let's see, this one goes, once they're in there, it looks a little bit nicer than having that sharp corner on there. All right, so we're gonna get it all put together and see if it works. All right, so we got it put together, as you can see. So you got the extra screw in there, but it does hold really well, as on the other side. But like I said, that smoke unit doesn't really quite line up. So my plan is, I think I'll redo this. I mean, this is just a little piece of rubber hose. Just have it kind of set up like that with a maybe a little piece of copper tubing or some type of metal tubing that will go down in there, go down into the hole and come out like that. Whoops. Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna have to put this in there correctly. I gotta take this shell back off and put it back on. We'll try that and we'll see how it works. All right, so let's see how it turned out. All right, so apparently my smoke box, there's a little smoke on the bottom, but that's okay. But as you can see, that was working pretty good. I like it. Okay, so I pulled a light bracket off of one of my other engines to try and see if it would go in there. Unfortunately, it hits the, don't know if you can see this or not, but it hits the smoke unit, the back of the socket. So I'm gonna have to figure something out. I've got an idea that I'm gonna try with some LED. We'll see if that works. Okay, just want to show you what I've done. So the wire that led to the light, I soldered a little extension piece in there, and then I cut just a tiny little divot right here. I am going to figure out a way of, I'm going to do it this way, maybe gluing that, or so that will ground out, and like that it will work, and then I can just slide the whole piece in and out, because like I say, that bracket was too big. I tried figuring out a couple other bracket types, but I realized, hey, I just need power to the bulb. So I literally just put a piece of wire in there and threw a little shrink wrap around it, shrink tubing, heated that up, sunk it on there so it's nice and tight. And that way, if I ever have to replace it, I just have to cut that shrink tubing off. This is an LED bulb, so it should last a long time. And then I just have to figure out a way to attach that on there in a temporary type fashion, so if I do have to take it off. So I'm thinking maybe some type of a glue that'll easily dissolve, or maybe having some type of a bracket that will go from here to here. So we'll see. So a change of plan, I decided to use a different shell, and I did a whole video of me tearing the thing completely apart, and for some reason I lost the video portion of it. So, but this is the shell that I'm using. Now we'll take it into the sandblast booth.
everything's all sandblasted, I'm going to take a little break, have a little lunch, and when we come back, we're going to do some wet sanding and primer. page booth all set up. I showed you guys in one of my previous videos how I made this thing work. We've got a box fan on the back of it, pulling the air through that filter. That way you get rid of all your overspray. Now we'll put on some primer. All right, guys, so I'm taking a little bit of a break, and tomorrow we'll get back to the Commodore Vanderbilt rebuild.
All right, guys, so the project is done. I had a little bit of a hiccup when I was putting it all back together. I forgot to hit play on or record on my phone. So unfortunately, the whole process of me putting my train back together, I didn't catch, but I will walk you through on some of the different things that I did. But let's take a look at it first. So here we go. That's my Commodore Vanderbilt. The only thing that I still have yet to do is to label the badges. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to be calling this one. And then I also did a matching tender. So let's take a closer look. Let me bring it up there and explain to you what I did. So this is a regular Commodore Vanderbilt, but what I did is I took a 666 motor and put it in here. Now, one of the things that I had to do was right here, I had to make that little piece that I showed you. That's where it is. I painted it black so it wouldn't stick out as much. And then for the smoke unit, I had to put a little extension piece. So what I did is I used a small piece of copper pipe here. Now on the little red piece of transparent red piece of plastic that goes in there, I just cut a little hole in it. I ran that out a little bit because the stack is actually, if you notice, this is at an angle. So the stack is back a little bit, so it was just blowing smoke into the engine. So I had to make that little extension piece to bring it out. I was able to get a small light in there. Hey, real quick, speaking of the light, those two little pieces of wood that I glued on there, what I ended up doing was just sliding in the light piece that was attached to the wire, and I took a tiny little rubber band and wrapped it around it, and that seemed to hold it in there just fine. It was definitely a chore on how I had to do it. I don't know. Yeah, you can't see from the inside how I did it. But yeah, I think it turned out nice. I could have done a little bit better on the paint, to be honest with you, but that's that. Let's take a closer look at the tender. One of the cool things that I've been doing with my tenders is I leave this in primer gray. I like that. And then when I spray paint this coal stack, I will take a piece of very coarse sandpaper, and while the paint is still wet, I just touch it on there to give it a little bit of a rough edge to it. But that is my tender, and here again, I don't know what name I'm going to put on here. I might just keep it as a New York Central on this one because it's kind of unique being the smoker unit. Head down a little low. So now the ultimate test is, how does it run? Now, one of the things I do have to admit, I'll show you a quick little video here of a close-up of the train running. It doesn't smoke as much as I wish it would. If you look up in the corner, you can see it smokes a little bit, but not nearly to the extent that I wanted it to. I think it's because of the diameter of the pipe that I put in there. It's literally about half the size of what the original stack was because I had to slip it in the inside of it. But all in all, I kind of like this one a lot. Let's get it on the track here. I believe I have this powered. Yep, I do have it powered. Let's take a look at it going around. This thing runs really, really nice. I did a good thorough job of cleaning out the motor on this one. So to make sure that it ran really nice. Also, as you notice, I set up just a simple little test piece. It's a lot easier. As you can see, it's starting to smoke now a little bit. Of course, I can't run them too fast on this one. But it came out nice, and the reverse worked when it worked out great. All right, guys, so that about does it for this this restoration project on this Vanderbilt. I still have, what do I have? I still have 3 more left on the shelf that need to be done. And I am going to pick up some more. I really like doing these Vanderbilts. There's just, there's something unique. I think in the next one I'm going to go with a different, because all the other ones I've just done base color and then different colors for the the accent pieces. I've got a couple ideas of how I might switch some of these up a little bit. One I was thinking about maybe making that front end piece a different color. Possibly, I have the one that I did the striping on. Yeah, I won't be able to do one for a little while. I've been waiting for some stuff from Parts for Marx. They sent me 3 weeks ago. I got an email saying, hey, your stuff's on its way. I tracked it, and all it says is that the label's been printed and that the post office hasn't even received the package yet. So I've sent some emails. If any of you guys know how to contact them, because they don't seem to answer my order was done through Amy, and I've sent emails and not gotten any response back. So if you guys might know a better way to contact them, please let me know. All right, everybody. Happy railroading. I hope everybody's having a good summer. I've been spending some time getting some of my stuff ready. Like I say, in October, I'm planning on doing the Wheaton Train Show. I believe it's October 6th or something like that. We'll see. All right, guys. Hope you like this project that I worked on here. I've been teasing this one for a while. I'll be 100% honest, it didn't come out quite as good as it, mainly because of the amount of smoke that comes out of this guy. I mean, I wish it was more. But all in all, though, I really like the yellow. I think that came out pretty cool. All right, guys. You know how we always end it. Say it with me. Choo-choo!
Thank you for watching my Papa's videos.